Maria Rodriguez pushed her cleaning cart down the empty hallway of Technova Corporation at 3:47 a.m. The wheels squeaked softly against the polished marble floor as she made her way to the executive floor. At 34 years old, she had been working as a night janitor for 3 years, supporting her 8-year-old daughter Sophia, who dreamed of becoming an engineer someday. The building felt different at night. During the day, it buzzed with hundreds of employees rushing between meetings, their expensive suits and confident voices filling every corner. But now, in the quiet darkness, Maria could think clearly as she worked. She often wondered what it would be like to sit in those leather chairs in the boardrooms instead of cleaning around them. Maria had always been good with numbers and problem-solving. Before Sophia was born, she had been studying computer science at the local community college. But when her husband left them with nothing but debt and broken promises, she had to drop out and find work immediately. The janitorial job at Technova paid enough to cover rent and groceries, though barely. As she entered the main server room to empty the trash bins, Maria noticed something unusual. The massive computer servers that normally hummed quietly were making strange clicking sounds. Red warning lights blinked frantically across multiple machines. She had cleaned this room hundreds of times and had never seen anything like this before. Maria knew she should just finish her cleaning and leave. It was not her job to worry about computers, but something about the pattern of the blinking lights caught her attention. During her brief time in college, she had learned about computer systems, and these warning signals looked familiar. She approached one of the main control panels carefully. The screen showed cascading error messages in bright red text. Words like system failure and critical error flashed repeatedly. At the bottom of the screen, she could see a timer counting down. Backup failure in 47 minutes. Maria's heart started racing. She remembered reading about similar situations in her old textbooks. If these servers failed completely, the company could lose everything stored on them. She thought about all the people who worked here during the day, how they might lose their jobs if something terrible happened to the company's data. She pulled out her phone and took pictures of the error messages, trying to understand what was happening. The main problem seemed to be related to something called a recursive loop error in the backup system. Maria stared at the code displayed on the screen, her mind working through the logic she had learned years ago. Suddenly, she realized what might be causing the problem. It looked like someone had accidentally created an infinite loop in the backup software, causing it to repeat the same failed process over and over until it overloaded the entire system. The solution might be simpler than anyone would expect, but Maria hesitated. She was just a janitor. Nobody would listen to her, and she could get fired for touching equipment she was not supposed to touch. She thought about Sophia sleeping peacefully at home, depending on Maria's steady paycheck for everything. The timer on the screen now showed 38 minutes remaining. Maria made a decision that would change everything. She carefully approached the keyboard, her hands trembling slightly. She remembered the basic programming commands from her college days. If she was right about the infinite loop, she might be able to stop it with just a few simple keystrokes. She typed carefully, creating a small command to interrupt the failing backup process. Her fingers moved slowly across the keyboard as she wrote a basic script to reset the system's backup protocol. It was nothing fancy, just fundamental programming that any first-year computer science student would understand. After double-checking her work, Maria pressed the Enter key. For a moment, nothing happened. The error messages continued flashing, and the countdown timer kept moving. Maria's heart sank, thinking she had made a terrible mistake. Then, suddenly, the red warning lights began turning green one by one. The error messages disappeared from the screens. The strange clicking sounds from the servers gradually faded away, replaced by the normal quiet humming she was used to hearing. The main screen now displayed a simple message: "Backup system restored. All data secure." Maria stepped back from the computer, hardly believing what had just happened. She had actually fixed it. With just a few lines of basic code, she had solved what appeared to be a major technical crisis. But now she faced a new problem. Should she tell someone what she had done? Would anyone believe that a night janitor had fixed a critical computer system? She worried that people might think she had caused the problem in the first place. Maria decided to finish her cleaning duties as if nothing had happened. She emptied the trash bins, wiped down the surfaces, and left the server room exactly as she was supposed to. But her mind raced with questions about what would happen when the day shift arrived and discovered that the crisis had mysteriously resolved itself. As she pushed her cart toward the elevator, Maria thought about Sophia's dreams of becoming an engineer. Maybe someday her daughter would work in a place like this, solving important problems and being recognized for her intelligence. For now, though, Maria was content knowing she had helped protect people's jobs, even if nobody would ever know it was her. The first hints of dawn were appearing through the building's windows as Maria finished her shift. She gathered her things and headed toward the exit, unaware that security cameras had recorded everything that had happened in the server room. She also did not know that the computer system she had fixed was responsible for managing Technova's most important client contracts, worth over $500 million. As Maria walked to the bus stop to go home to Sophia, she had no idea that her simple act of problem-solving was about to turn her entire life upside down. The next day would bring surprises that she could never have imagined, starting with a very confused team of computer engineers and ending with a meeting that would change everything. Maria boarded the early morning bus, thinking about making breakfast for Sophia before school. She smiled slightly, feeling proud that she had remembered her old computer skills and had been able to help in some small way. Little did she know that by tomorrow, everyone at Technova Corporation would be talking about the mysterious overnight miracle that had saved the company from disaster. At 8:30 a.m. the next morning, chaos erupted in the Technova Corporation building. James Chen, the chief technology officer, arrived at his office to find 17 urgent messages from his team leaders. The overnight monitoring system had detected a massive system failure that somehow resolved itself without any human intervention. "This is impossible," James muttered as he reviewed the automated reports. According to the logs, their entire backup infrastructure had nearly collapsed around 4 a.m., which would have resulted in the loss of critical data worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But then, mysteriously, everything had been restored within minutes using what appeared to be a basic reset command. Dr. Sarah Williams, the lead systems engineer, burst into James's office holding a tablet filled with data analysis. "James, you need to see this. Someone accessed our main server room at 3:52 a.m. and implemented a solution that our entire team missed. The elegant simplicity of the fix is actually brilliant." "Who was it? Which one of our emergency response technicians?" James asked, pulling up the employee access logs. "That's the strange part," Sarah replied, scrolling through her tablet. "No technical staff was in the building. The only people here were security guards and the night cleaning crew." James frowned and called building security immediately. Within minutes, they were reviewing footage from the server room cameras. Both technical experts watched in stunned silence as they saw Maria Rodriguez, wearing her janitor uniform, approach the computer terminals and begin typing. "She knew exactly what she was doing," Sarah whispered, watching Maria's confident keystrokes on the screen. "Look at how she diagnosed the recursive loop error. Our team of 12 engineers spent 6 hours on a similar problem last month." Meanwhile, Maria was at home helping Sophia get ready for school, completely unaware of the investigation happening at Technova. She made scrambled eggs and packed Sophia's lunch, listening to her daughter practice multiplication tables. "Mom, Mrs. Patterson says we're going to learn about computers next week," Sophia announced excitedly. "I want to build robots someday, just like you always tell me I can do anything." Maria smiled and hugged her daughter. "You absolutely can, sweetheart. Never let anyone tell you otherwise." After dropping Sophia at school, Maria returned home to sleep before her next night shift. She had no idea that CEO Robert Harrison had called an emergency executive meeting to discuss what his team was calling the overnight miracle. Robert Harrison had built Technova from a small startup into a billion-dollar company over 15 years. He was known for recognizing talent wherever he found it and promoting employees based on ability rather than credentials. When James and Sarah brought him the security footage, he watched it 3 times without saying a word. "You're telling me," Robert finally said, "that a member of our janitorial staff identified and solved a critical system failure that could have cost us our biggest contracts?" "Not just solved it," Sarah emphasized. "She implemented a solution that was more efficient than what we would have designed. She understood the root cause immediately and fixed it with minimal code. This shows real programming knowledge." Robert leaned back in his chair, thinking carefully. "What do we know about her?" James pulled up Maria's employment file. "Maria Rodriguez, 34 years old, single mother, worked here for 3 years. Clean employment record, always on time, no complaints, but there's no mention of any technical background." "I want to meet with her," Robert decided. "But first, let's find out more about her background. If she has this kind of skill, why is she working as a janitor?" The Human Resources team spent the afternoon making discreet inquiries. They discovered that Maria had been a computer science student before financial circumstances forced her to leave college. Her former professors remembered her as exceptionally bright and creative in problem-solving. That evening, as Maria prepared for another night shift, she received an unexpected phone call. "Ms. Rodriguez, this is Jennifer Adams from Technova Human Resources. Mr. Harrison, our CEO, would like to meet with you tomorrow morning. Would that be possible?" Maria's heart raced. Had they discovered what she had done? Was she about to lose her job? "Did I do something wrong?" she asked nervously. "Not at all," Jennifer assured her. "Mr. Harrison simply wants to have a conversation with you." "Could you come in at 10 a.m.? Maria agreed, though she spent the entire night shift worrying about what the meeting might mean. She completed her cleaning duties efficiently, carefully avoiding the server room. Every time she passed the executive offices, she wondered if she should confess what had happened the night before. The next morning, Maria dropped Sophia at school and returned home to change into her only professional outfit, a simple black dress she had worn to her original job interview 3 years earlier. She arrived at Technova 15 minutes early and waited nervously in the reception area. At exactly 10 a.m., Jennifer Adams escorted Maria to a conference room where Robert Harrison sat with James Chen and Sarah Williams. Maria recognized them from seeing them around the building, but had never imagined she would be sitting across from them at a table. "Please, have a seat," Robert said warmly. "Thank you for coming in on your day off. I wanted to talk with you about something that happened 2 nights ago." Maria's hands trembled slightly as she sat down. "I hope I haven't done anything wrong, sir." Robert smiled and activated a tablet showing the security footage from the server room. "We'd like you to watch this video and tell us what you see." As Maria watched herself on the screen, her face grew pale. She saw herself approaching the computer terminals, analyzing the error messages, and typing the solution. There was no way to deny what she had done. "I'm so sorry," Maria said quietly. "I know I wasn't supposed to touch the computers." "I was just trying to help. I thought the company might lose important information." "Help?" Sarah interrupted, leaning forward with excitement. "Maria, do you understand what you accomplished? You saved our company from a potential $500 million disaster. That backup system manages contracts with our 3 largest clients." Maria looked up in surprise. "I didn't know it was that important. I just saw error messages that looked familiar from when I was studying computer science." "You studied computer science?" James asked. "That's not in your employment file." Maria explained her background, how she had been forced to drop out of college when Sophia was born and her husband left. She told them about her struggle to find steady work and how grateful she had been for the janitorial position at Technova. Robert listened intently to every word. When Maria finished her story, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something that would change Maria's life forever. "Maria, I want to offer you a position in our technical department. We need people who can think the way you do, who can see solutions that others miss. Would you be interested in completing your computer science education with company support while working as a junior systems analyst?" Maria stared at him in disbelief. "Are you serious? You want to hire me for a technical job?" "I'm completely serious," Robert replied. "Talent like yours is rare. We've been searching for months to fill several positions in our development team. Your approach to problem-solving is exactly what we need." Tears began forming in Maria's eyes as she thought about Sophia's dreams and how this opportunity could change both their futures. "I would love to accept, but I need to ask about one thing. Would the schedule allow me to still pick up my daughter from school?" "We'll work around your schedule," Robert assured her. "Single parents face unique challenges, and we believe in supporting our employees' families." Sarah added, "Maria, we'd also like to document your solution from the other night. Your approach could help us improve our entire backup system design." As the meeting concluded, Maria could hardly believe what was happening. In less than an hour, her life had transformed from worrying about losing her janitorial job to being offered a career in technology with opportunities for advancement. Walking out of the conference room, Maria felt like she was floating. She thought about calling Sophia's school to share the incredible news, but decided to wait until she picked her up. This would be a celebration they would remember forever. But Maria had no idea that Robert Harrison had one more surprise planned, something that would make this day even more unforgettable than she could have imagined. Later that same afternoon, Robert Harrison called another meeting, but this time it included the entire Technova leadership team. Word had spread quickly through the company about the janitor who had solved a critical technical problem, and everyone wanted to understand what had happened. "Before we discuss Maria Rodriguez's new position," Robert announced to the assembled executives, "I want everyone to understand the bigger picture of what occurred. Sarah, please explain the technical details." Sarah stood and activated the main presentation screen. 2 nights ago, our backup system experienced a cascading failure that would have corrupted data from our 3 largest client accounts. The recovery process would have taken weeks and cost us approximately $500 million in contract penalties and lost business. Murmurs of concern rippled through the room as the executives realized how close they had come to disaster. "However," Sarah continued, "the problem was solved in under 10 minutes by someone with no formal technical training in our systems. Maria Rodriguez identified a recursive loop error and implemented an elegant solution using basic programming principles." David Kumar, the chief financial officer, raised his hand. "Are you saying that our entire technical team missed something that could be fixed with basic programming?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," Sarah replied. "Sometimes we overcomplicate solutions because we assume problems must be complex. Maria approached it with fresh eyes and fundamental knowledge." Robert stood up again. "This situation has made me realize something important about our company culture. We have brilliant people working in every department, but we only recognize technical talent in people who have traditional credentials. How many other Maria Rodriguezes are working in our building right now?" Jennifer Adams from Human Resources had prepared for this question. "I've been reviewing personnel files since yesterday. We have employees in various departments who have incomplete degrees, previous technical experience, or educational backgrounds that don't match their current roles." "I want to change that," Robert declared. "Starting immediately, we're launching an internal talent development program. Any employee who demonstrates ability and interest can apply for cross-training opportunities, education support, and career advancement regardless of their current position." The room buzzed with excitement as the executives discussed the possibilities. Meanwhile, Maria was at Sophia's school for pickup, still trying to process everything that had happened. "Mom, you look different today," Sophia observed as they walked to the bus stop. "You're smiling bigger than usual." Maria knelt down to Sophia's eye level. "Sweetheart, I have some incredible news. Remember how I told you that if you work hard and never give up on your dreams, amazing things can happen?" Sophia nodded eagerly. "Well, today something amazing happened to Mommy. The company where I work offered me a new job working with computers, and they're going to help me finish college too." Sophia's eyes went wide. "Really? You're going to be a computer engineer like I want to be?" "I'm going to learn to be a systems analyst, which is very similar," Maria explained. "And the best part is, we'll be able to afford a better apartment and maybe even save money for your college education." Sophia hugged her mother tightly. "I'm so proud of you, Mom. I always knew you were smart." Back at Technova, Robert Harrison was putting the finishing touches on one more surprise. He had asked his assistant to prepare something special for Maria's first official day in her new position. The next morning, Maria arrived early for her first day as a junior systems analyst. Jennifer Adams met her in the lobby with a new employee badge and a tablet containing her training materials. As they walked through the building, Maria noticed that several employees smiled and nodded at her in recognition. "Word travels fast in our company," Jennifer explained. "Everyone's heard about what you did, and they're excited to have you on the technical team." They stopped outside a modest office with a window overlooking the city. Maria's name was already printed on a nameplate beside the door. "Maria Rodriguez, Systems Analyst." "This is my office?" Maria asked in amazement. "I've never had my own office before." "Mr. Harrison insisted," Jennifer replied. "He wants all our technical staff to have proper workspace for concentration and collaboration." Inside the office, Maria found her desk equipped with 2 large computer monitors, advanced software programs, and a stack of computer science textbooks. But what caught her attention most was a framed photograph sitting on her desk that she had never seen before. The picture showed Maria at her computer terminal in the server room 2 nights earlier, but it had been enhanced and professionally mounted. Below the image was an engraved plaque that read, "Sometimes the most elegant solutions come from the most unexpected places. Innovation Award, Technova Corporation." Jennifer smiled as Maria touched the frame carefully. "Mr. Harrison wanted you to have something to commemorate the moment that changed your career. He believes that breakthrough thinking should always be recognized and celebrated." As Maria settled into her new workspace, Sarah Williams knocked on her door. "Ready for your first technical training session? We're going to start by having you teach us about your problem-solving approach from the other night." "You want me to teach you?" Maria asked in surprise. "Absolutely. We've analyzed your solution method and we think it could improve how our entire team approaches complex problems." Fresh perspectives are invaluable in technology. During the training session, Maria found herself explaining her thought process to a room full of experienced engineers. She described how she had approached the error messages without preconceived notions about what the solution should look like. "I just looked at what the computer was telling me," Maria explained. "The error messages were like symptoms of a problem. I tried to understand what was causing the symptoms rather than just treating them." James Chen nodded approvingly. "That's actually a fundamental principle of systems analysis that many experienced programmers forget. We sometimes focus so much on sophisticated solutions that we miss simple ones." Over the following weeks, Maria threw herself into learning everything she could about Technova's systems. She attended online college courses during her lunch breaks, studied technical manuals in the evenings, and absorbed knowledge from her experienced colleagues. But more importantly, she began contributing fresh ideas to projects across the company. Her unique perspective, combining formal computer science knowledge with practical problem-solving experience, proved valuable in ways no one had anticipated. 3 months later, Robert Harrison invited Maria to present at Technova's quarterly board meeting. She had developed a new approach to system monitoring that could predict failures before they occurred, potentially saving millions of dollars in preventive maintenance. Standing at the front of the boardroom, wearing a professional suit that she could now afford, Maria looked out at the executives who had once seemed unreachable. Sophia sat in the back row, having been specially invited to watch her mother's presentation. 6 months ago, I was cleaning this conference room after your meetings, Maria began. I never imagined I would be standing here presenting solutions to you. But this experience has taught me that innovation can come from anywhere if we're willing to recognize and nurture it. The board members listened intently as Maria explained her predictive monitoring system using clear, accessible language that demonstrated both technical knowledge and communication skill. After the presentation, the board voted unanimously to implement Maria's system across all Technova operations. Robert Harrison announced that Maria was being promoted to Senior Systems Analyst with a substantial salary increase and expanded responsibilities. That evening, Maria and Sophia celebrated at their favorite restaurant, a small family place they had always considered too expensive for regular visits. As they shared dessert, Sophia looked at her mother with admiration. "Mom, do you think other people like us can achieve their dreams too?" Sophia asked. Maria smiled and took her daughter's hand. "I believe that talent and determination exist everywhere, sweetheart. Sometimes it takes someone willing to look beyond the surface to discover it, but when that happens, amazing things are possible." As they walked home through their neighborhood, Maria reflected on how dramatically her life had changed. The financial stress that had dominated her thoughts for years was finally easing. Sophia's college fund was growing steadily. Most importantly, Maria was using her skills and intelligence in ways that made a real difference. But perhaps the most satisfying change was the new policy Robert Harrison had implemented at Technova. The internal talent development program had already identified 12 other employees with hidden technical abilities, creating advancement opportunities that hadn't existed before. Maria realized that her story was no longer just about a single moment of problem-solving in a server room. It had become part of a larger transformation in how the company valued and developed human potential. Looking up at the Technova building in the distance, Maria thought about all the people working there who might have undiscovered talents waiting for the right opportunity. She smiled, knowing that her experience had helped create pathways for others to achieve their own breakthrough moments. The janitor who had fixed a $500 million problem in seconds had become something even more valuable, a catalyst for change that would benefit countless other people pursuing their own dreams of advancement and recognition.